You ready? All right, all right, all right. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, it's so hot. More better. More better coming with the fire and flame. Coming with the cocktails and conversations. Ain't no telling what we gonna talk about today. Yeah. Let's have some fun and get this conversation going. Hit that like button. Thank you in advance. All support is appreciated. Get your snacks and drinks. Let's have some fun and great conversations. Enjoy these cocktails. Yeah, more better. Ain't no telling what we gonna talk about today. Let's have some fun and get this conversation going. Hit that like button. Thank you in advance. All support is appreciated. Get your snacks and drinks. Let's have some fun and great conversations. And enjoy these cocktails. More better, more better, more better, more better. Come in with the fire and flame. Come in with the cocktails and conversations. Ain't no telling what we gonna talk about today. Let's have some fun and get this conversation going.
Okay, I think I got it now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Oh my God, I hope you can hear me now. I think you guys can hear me now because the little green dot is moving. I think I had it running too long. I should have logged out and logged back in and then started it. Um, hey MGO, thank you for being here. Hey, your pleasure. Can you guys? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I had it running for about an hour and I took a nap. I probably should have went out and came back in because I had the sound already. So at least you guys can hear me. Um, so hey you guys, I hated that I had to go live while pizza was live because I knew that was gonna kind of mess with my numbers, but it's okay. I have jujitsu this evening. If you guys been watching me, I told you guys that my son started jujitsu And so it's tonight, and I have to go to the office tomorrow. So this was my only time that I could go live because I had other things that I needed to take care of in my personal life this morning. So this is it. Um, what I want to tell you guys. So I'm gonna drop the link. I was wanting to hold an autism panel because I didn't get a chance to. It was basically inspired by KBZ because she had hit my link. Hey, Erica Fierce. Hey, boo. Thank you for coming. Um, KBZ had inspired me to do this panel because she had hit my panel when I was giving my autism story, and I was unable to hear. Well, okay, Erica, thank you though. Thank you for being here. Oh, KBZ is here. Yay. So she didn't get a chance to tell me her story or what she wanted to say. So that's what inspired me to have this live. So I could hear anybody else's thoughts, what they think, or anything they just want to share that they think would help someone else, or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm going to drop the link so you can come up. Like I said before, my son has jujitsu, so I gotta be out of here by 5 o'clock. It is now 3:21. That gives me a little bit of time. I may be finished before then, but we shall see. Hey, Tiffany. Okay, let me see. Um, Let me drop the link and you guys could come up. I was very surprised at how many people were affected by my story, and how just all the positive feedback that I got back. And that was so sweet. I was really happy to get that feedback and to actually be an inspiration for others. Because, like I said before, hey, my Berber, like I said before, having a child with autism is not easy. It is a lot of work, and um it's just a lot, it's I think I've been able to succeed in this journey of mine because I do push the envelope. I do try to do things that people say is not going to be able to happen, but I do it anyway, because I think that's what makes him venture out and do more things than people say he might have done, or what I think he could have done. He has surpassed all of my wildest dreams. When he first got diagnosed, if somebody would have told me we would be here, I never would have guessed it. Never. Hey, Ivy Pearl, my favorite sword that I love. Let me drink some water. I know I sound a little crazy, but I took a nap. I was tired. I went to bed late and I still wake up at 6:30. I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, so I'm hoping KBZ will come up so she can tell me what it is she wanted to tell me so we could talk about it. Anybody else want to come up and just have a discussion, and share your stories or your ideals or any kind of advice that you think. Oh, let me see. MGL said, Mobetta, so grateful that you have been such a source of support to your son. Absolutely. Oh, wait, someone is here. Oh, it's KBZ, but hold on, let me put my banner. Um, Wait a minute. KBZ,
It's me, Ma.
hey girlie, thank you
Yes,
for coming up.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having this. You were getting a lot of information. I just was at work and had to go into a meeting. So I had to jump off the panel. But no, a lot that was said was definitely kind of what I
Wait,
was saying.
hold it. Hold that thought because MGO is here. Let me get
Mhm.
her up. Hold on. Um, MGO. Oh, wait,
Yes.
MGO.
Yes, can you
Oh,
hear me?
very good. Thank you for being. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you for coming.
Sure. And K Busy, please continue. I'm listening. I just came up
Yes.
maybe to share afterward, but don't stop.
Okay. Very good.
Thank-
Okay.
no, I
Go
was
ahead,
just going to
KBZ.
say
What did you want to say?
and I was just going to say because we're both in California, so I was just going to give you resources, but she definitely gave you everything. I have twin boys that are 17
Ooh,
now. One of them has
wow.
autism and the other doesn't. So that was a journey within itself. Um,
Wow.
and so I understand with the trying to figure out, trying to balance, those were my first children. So I got the bang for my buck for two. And then with the autism
Right?
diagnosis, because he was diagnosed at two. So fairly early was he diagnosed. And
Wow.
it's a journey.
Could you tell the difference between the two? Like right away?
I could because one of my son without autism, he was extremely social. Whereas my other son, he would just want to go and play with his cars, play with his marbles. Um, it would be little things like eye contact. And I didn't know what it was, but something as a mom just felt off. Like isn't
Mm-hmm.
something isn't right here. Let's figure out what's going on. So with California, that is the great thing. They have a lot of early intervention services, a lot of just
Yes.
available resources. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just tapped in and it was just going through the rabbit hole, trying to figure out um, what what we needed to do. I had the ABA services and they're great. But when you first start them, it is just like you have a roommate, you have somebody living in your home with
Girl.
you.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
you wake up those days and you're like, I don't feel like dealing with this, but you know that it's
Hey,
ultimately for your baby.
yeah,
So,
no, I absolutely agree with all of that. But I just went with it. But you know what's interesting to me? How you said that you could tell something in you because you're a mom. I really did not get that at all. And I guess because that was my first child. And I don't know if maybe because I was still grieving the death of my husband, why I wasn't able to really see that. I don't know. I mean, until my mom said something, I just thought maybe he was just a little delayed in his speech, especially when people was like, well, boys don't talk as fast as girls, you know?
mhm, no, and it was just, I think more so because I had something to compare it to because I had two.
Oh,
So
okay,
I
got
had
it. Now
something
that
to
makes sense.
compare it to say, well, this child is doing this, but what's going on? And then I do work in the healthcare field, the medical field.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
I had some exposure. Uh, and it was just like, okay, here we go. I'm currently now wanting to open, and I'm kind of working out logistics, but I'm wanting to open up um, a it's a group, but it's more so based therapy based for us as Black people because you do not have that a
Okay.
lot. I would sign up to like the support groups, and while the people in there were great, you would go in there and it's just like your lifestyle isn't like mine. I want
Right.
my child to be as typically as functioning as possible. While we do understand this is going
Right.
on, I don't want to coddle you and coddle the autism and, oh, he can't do this because he has autism. And no, we're going to strive. It may be done a different way. We have to take different avenues, but we're going to try. Whereas in some of those groups, it was just, we're going to coddle the quote unquote disability as opposed to figuring out how to work with the person. So,
Right.
that is a major thing that I'm working on right now. It's has some grants in place and it's work, but I
Well, where are
definitely
you? Are you in Northern or Southern California?
I'm in Northern California. I'm in Northern
Oh,
California.
okay, because I'm Southern California. Okay,
Yeah,
so before you continue, I just want to get MGO's opinion, or her to jump in here and just tell us whatever it is she wants us to know. But I appreciate
absolutely.
you, KBZ, and I want to know all about your program, and I will promote it even if I'm not, nearby, because I understand. I do.
Absolutely. It's a work in progress and I'm finished. I just kind of wanted to touch bases with you. Girl, my air conditioning went out, so I'm here with the text going back and forth. So if I have to drop down, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I appreciate you.
No
Sounds
problem.
like an
I
awesome
never.
program. Do you have any connections with
It does.
the Color of Autism Foundation or Autism in Black or any of those nonprofits by any chance?
Autism in Black, yes.
Okay, great.
See, I need to know about all this stuff because can I tell you, I haven't been a part of no support program. It would have been great to be able to have that, but I think too, just the fact that I didn't have my husband, that kind of maybe stopped me because I was trying to not feel the things that I was going through. But now that I'm so much better, I would really love to do that because who wouldn't need support?
No,
So whatever you guys
absolutely.
know,
And KBC,
Absolutely.
before you
you know what I
leave, are
mean?
you connected at all with the Sankofa program that used to be with CSU Northridge?
No, I'm not.
Cause maybe I think if you Google it, SANKOFA, the founder Elizabeth Morgan has since moved to another university, but I think the program might be intact. It's a group of Black families, and they they meet and they provide different sort resources for one another, and it might be a good contact because what you're trying to perform, I think, is something like what they kind of what they do more informally, and like I think there's such a need for
Hmm.
our families. There isn't much. There's a lot of
Yes.
stuff that's autism related, but you go in there and there's like a handful of people that are brown and black. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
If even
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I've never even been a part of any support group. Like when my son first got diagnosed, and like I said before, I was kind of in a daze. I just did what they told me to do, but I really was not there. And so the only help that I kind of got was my one of my coworkers, who is a white woman. She she basically, we went to one day, I was in my office and I was just crying, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was telling her, I was like, "My son just got diagnosed with autism. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, it's just a lot. I don't know." And so she was like, "Let's have lunch tomorrow." So I was like, "Okay." We went to lunch and she was just like, "I have a son who has autism and it's gonna be okay." And she just kind of gave me a pep talk, and I did kind of reach out to her like when I felt a little overwhelmed. And then I also have a sister-in-law who, her son has autism, but we're like so different. She support me though, but I couldn't really get a lot of resources from her, but we did help each other. I mean, she helped me. I still call her sometimes when I get stuck or I feel overwhelmed, because she is the one who has told me over and over again that some of our issues that some of our kids have are just typical kid issues.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of them are, autism specific. Some of them are kid things that are just, maybe through the lens of an autistic child. And it's a mix of things. So that I'm really glad that you had
Okay,
someone
KBZ.
to connect with, even if she wasn't, she, culturally she might be different, but that she kind of, gave you support early on. And, that's so important because so many
Yes.
of us can feel very alone.
And I definitely felt very alone. But I had a lot of other things going on too. So I think that's why I might not have gone that extra step. But I thank God that I still am able to say that, we've gotten so far. But I'm just sitting here thinking, since I had that life, how much further I could have been had I known about a lot of these resources, you know?
Yeah, some of them also might not have existed at the time too. It all depends on, because a lot of our kids are diagnosed later. And then like, like you
Hmm.
mentioned, like the different geographic location, depending on where you are, what services are available. And Does a parent know about that?
Right.
Because you could be just put be putting one foot in front of the other, trying to survive each day and be there for your baby,
Yeah.
and not be aware of these things that are happening, that are forming around you.
Oh, can I tell you, MGO, for the longest, I felt so guilty because my son was not diagnosed till he was like 4. And when we first started going to these therapies and I saw these little kids younger than my child, I was just like, I felt so guilty because I was like, I should have been more aware. It took me a
It's
minute.
not,
I
but
felt
but it's
guilty.
not you. It's there's research and data that our children are diagnosed a lot later than their white counterparts, even when displaying the characteristics. So you're the parent, but there are a million different people who your son encountered day in and day out who could have easily mentioned that maybe there was a need for assessment. Like you said, you were grieving, and if this is your child and this is your normalcy, you know what I mean, then what
Yeah.
you how are you going to know that it's this thing called autism? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is too, like with my sister-in-law, we're very close now, but at the time we weren't really close because my husband passed away, and death makes people act weird. It was a little weird, and I guess we had to find our place without having that connection, my husband not being there. So we weren't as close at the time as we are now, but so I didn't really look to her for support or to just even talk to because we weren't really that close at the time. The other thing is because autism is the spectrum is so wide, my son and her son don't look anything alike as far as, what their behaviors are or things that they may struggle with is totally different. Like my son, he's not like my son likes to meet people. He likes to talk to people. He wants to make friends. But then my nephew is like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I want you to stay out of my face. But he's very, very smart. They consider him a savant.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And only a small percentage of us are savants, so that's pretty cool.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, he's super smart. We knew he was smart when we would go to the grocery store and he would. This is before I had my son because he's older than my son, but he before my husband passed away and me and my sister-in-law would do stuff. We took him to the grocery store. You add up the grocery bill and it was right, but you don't got a calculator.
That's awesome.
We like, okay. So tell me some of your experience with autism and anything you would like to share.
Sure. So I'm autistic myself.
Okay.
And I also have my two youngest children are autistic as well. So they're teenagers now. So when I saw this topic, I was like, oh yeah, this would be very cool to talk about. But the first thing I wanted to ask you is why you use the puzzle piece as opposed to the infinity symbol.
Well, I don't know anything about the infinity symbol. I've been on this
Oh,
island MGO all by myself, okay? Um I've been on it all by myself. Like I just now started the process for regional center. I never even did regional center because I really didn't. I felt like I didn't need it. I felt like I was my son's biggest advocate. At the time when I started ABA and I started occupational and speech therapy, I thought regional center was another appointment. And
yeah, and it
I'm a
probably
working
kind of was.
yeah, and the other thing is too, I at the beginning, kind of like what KBZ was saying, girl, it was like y'all was living with me. And
Okay.
I wasn't really on board with it either. I felt like, I mean, excuse my language, but I'm just gonna keep it real because I don't know no other way. I felt like it was some bullshit. I felt like they were just trying to they were trying to make him into a robot. Like
Yeah,
to me, it didn't seem
you're
like
not too
it.
far off.
Yeah, so I was not happy with it, but I didn't know a lot. So I'm gonna go with what the doctor ordered. And then I'm not gonna lie, some of the things I started to see a difference right away. And that was what made me go with the just keep going because first day at occupational therapy, he learned how to say no. And that was huge because it cut down on a lot of drama. with him being able to say
Amen.
no.
Yes, yes,
I
he
don't
can
like that.
let his needs be known and not, that's so powerful to be able
Yes.
to do that.
Girl, I'm telling you, it sold me, even though I was like going through the motions and I really was, like I explained before, when you find out your child has autism, it is kind of like a death. It's the death of the child that you thought you were going to have. That's no more. And now you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where we're going. What's going to happen. I was worried about all of that. Um, so I just kind of went with the flow. I just did what they told me to do. But then when I started to see the change, I thank God every day. And I tell people all the time, because I meet people who don't believe in ABA or don't think that that's a good thing to do. And I sell it with everything that I love because it changed my life. It made things more bearable for me and for him.
I have mixed feelings about ABA
Okay, tell
because,
me.
yeah. So one reason is because a lot of the research that was used to determine that it was the gold standard was actually pretty biased, and doesn't meet like a lot of the standards of um, in terms of size, being double blinded, having an adequate control group. But so
Yes.
I have mixed feelings because no, on one hand, sometimes that's what parents are given. That's sometimes all you can get, or most of what you can get, right? And a parent wants
Yes.
to help their child. You want to give your child the tools that they need. And
Yes.
in some ways, ABA can really be helpful and really work. In other ways,
Yes.
I feel like something that is so externally focused is never going to truly get at the core of what we need. It's applied behavioral analysis. It's in the field of
Yes.
behaviorism, which only looks at external things. It can't understand what's going
Yes.
on the inside. So it's addressing behaviors, assuming it's attention seeking or avoidance without realizing what's really going on. And so while I think it has its place, um, I think that sometimes it's just one size fits all given to everyone as if it's the golden ticket.
Girl.
And I
Yeah.
think sometimes it can make you it's too compliance based because it's meant to break you down, break your will, and make you do the things that they need you to do, which some of those things you do need to do. You do need to be able to say no for your own safety so someone won't harm you, right? Or you
Right.
do need to be
Right.
able not to slam your head against the wall so you don't get a concussion. Like, some of the things it teaches you are
Yes.
you can be very life saving, but it can also groom you to where you need to do what people want you to do, because that's what makes them like you. That's what makes them give you a candy, a cookie, say good boy, good girl, give you a star. And that just,
Yeah.
slowly makes you um, very easy prey for manipulators and abusers later in life. Because how can you distinguish
Oh
when the
my
people you
God.
care for the most, the people who are with you all the time, hours and hours each day, as you form a bond with, are teaching you to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. So when other people that you consider friends or whomever want you to go down on them or do their
Yes.
homework or whatever, you're
Hmm.
trained to say yes and to do what they want you to do as opposed to what feels natural for you to do. Yeah.
Girl, can I tell you though? Let me just say this to you. You are absolutely right. ABA does have its positives, and I'll tell you what I think the positives are in a second, but I want to touch on what you said. Because, girl, that is what I'm dealing with now, people pleasing. And I'm just like, you cannot please everybody. It is okay to say no. I'm constantly telling them, like, you're gonna end up with something you don't want because you said yes because you think that's what they want to hear. It's hard to kind of get him to understand that, but we talk about it often, and it seems like he's starting to really understand what I'm saying because when an opportunity presents itself, I'll point it out so he can kind of understand because ABA probably had a lot to do with that, and I worry about that and I worry about the people pleasing and just telling people what you think they want to hear because that was one of my concerns with ABA. I did not like it in the beginning. I really felt like they were teaching him how to be a robot and I did not like that at all because I really just wanted him to be his own person and to just be able to communicate. But I will say the couple of things that I learned from ABA, which I am grateful for, is him being able to have appropriate conversations with people as opposed to before when he couldn't do that. It taught him that. It also taught me how to handle the behaviors that he would have when he would have tantrums. It helped me to give me tips to lessen that or to kind of avoid it. It's okay to be upset, but it's not okay to throw things. It's not okay to curse. It's not okay to hit, that kind of thing. But I do get it. And I am struggling with that right now. Like the whole people pleasing thing. Like I just constantly tell him okay all the time. It is okay to say no. It's okay to say no. If you don't like that, you don't like that. You don't like something, it's okay to not like something. You don't have to just go along. But at the same time, too, we're learning compromise because he is the only child and he is used to getting his way. So it's a lot.
It
It's
is.
definitely a
And
lot.
one thing that you mentioned about ABA, like I think one thing that ABA really, an area where it really shines is in the functional analysis and the data keeping. The records they
Hmm.
keep are phenomenal. And like you mentioned, working with you as a parent, the programs that and ABA has evolved and changed, like every field, things evolve and change. And there are more BCBAs of color now. There are people trying to take a more trauma informed approach. And I love what you mentioned about how they worked with you because successful programs don't just see the child as their client, they see the family as a unit. And so they'll work with the parent and
Yes,
kind of let them know what to expect, how to address certain things. Because, they're there with you a lot, but eventually they fade off and you have to continue life.
yes,
So I love that that was something that you were able to do as a mom, was to figure out how to redirect him in a positive way. Like, your feelings aren't wrong, but the way you might express your feelings can be
it's
problematic.
not
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Yeah. But ABA, I mean, for the most part, it was good. I mean, I had some negatives that I had to really just be on top of it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think I had one where I had a therapist come and you have my son sitting on your lap. We're not gonna do
Oh
that.
yeah, no, no,
And
no. Yeah.
then I had one who was not very, because some people don't believe in discipline. I don't know. I believe in discipline. I always felt like I never let anybody baby talk him or talk to him like
Awesome.
he doesn't understand, because he's a person and he does have thoughts, he does have feelings. He may not can express them in a way that you will understand, but that doesn't mean that you treat him any less different. And I think that's why he has gone so far. But I did discipline, and me and ABA, we kind of bump heads a couple of times because they're positive reinforcement. And while positive reinforcement is good, sometimes it's not good. And sometimes you need to get your phone taken away from you. Or sometimes,
Exactly.
like when he used to, there was a time when he used to run. He was a runner, and he ran in the street one time. And so, yeah, I spanked him. I spanked him, open hand on the butt, couple of swats. He never did it again. And like one time he spit on me. That never happened again. And it's not something that I did all the time, but when it's something that I felt like it was, he needed to get it, like that's something dangerous, you could get hurt, then I will
Yes,
utilize that.
because you
But
knew he was going to grow up to be a black man, and the world sees black first. They see autism
girl,
second or third or fifth, if
you
they
better
see it at
say
all.
it.
And so
So,
did you ever watch that video, that recording of there was a black teen, he was really tall, like 6 foot tall, and he had an
mhm,
incident at school where he got overstimulated and he picked up his the aide and like body slammed her to the ground, and like she was, like as if she was in a video game, and like knocked her, like,
mhm,
yeah, I think she took his device away. He was adopted by a white family, and they believed in, they didn't believe in discipline. And again, I'm not saying whoop the child like extension cords, or anything like
right.
that. But, I
Yeah,
think
no,
that,
absolutely right.
and I think they love their son, but I think that, he was cute and little. And then one day he became 4 feet and 5 feet and
Big,
6 feet.
yeah,
And, um, felt like, oh, you take my iPad away, I'm going to body slam you. And
yeah.
he got put in, I think, juvenile, kicked out of school. It was this big thing. I forgot the name of the child, but I
Wow.
just keep thinking about how you said he spit on me once, never again, because you nipped it in the bud. Because
Yeah,
yes, we are on the spectrum, we're different, but there's some things that are just not safe for us to do, no matter what our
yeah.
neurology
Oh,
is.
Very, oh my God, that is so true. And I have had to tell my family that now they're on board, but before I would tell them, like, you're not the one that's going to have to deal with it if he gets involved with the police, or if, you
Hmm.
know, you're not going to have to deal with it. I'm going to have to deal with it. Because me and my dad, we kind of bump heads a lot, because my dad kind of stepped in as a father figure for him. and
Hmm.
and I never spanked a lot, but I did spank when he was little if I felt like I needed to, like that time when he ran into the street. And my dad was just like, you can't do that. You can't spank him. He doesn't understand. And I was like, look, I'm the one who's going to have to deal with everything, cuz in the scheme of things, if something goes down, they not calling you, they calling me. So don't tell me how to do this, because I felt like I needed to be able to do that. And I would always tell people, like, you treat him like he can understand. Like, we're not going to baby him or just let him get away with just whatever because you have autism. That's no excuse. The world doesn't care. And so we need to start working on it at home. So when you go outside, you will know how to protect yourself, how to interact with others. But that's one of the things that I worry about too, with him being black and him being a teenager, because he don't understand about color and about racism and about mistreatment and about the police and the things that we need to look out for. Hoping one day that I will be able to have those type of conversations with him so that he will understand. But I worry about that because my child probably will end up being able to drive and hold a job and go to college. And I'm worried about that.
Yeah, it's a big worry because, like, a lot of things don't make sense to us. Like the fact that people are racist, like someone would dislike you because of your skin, sounds so stupid. I mean, to an autistic brain, it's just
Mhm.
like why?
Yes,
Like, doesn't even make
right.
sense. Like, it's how do you make that make sense? You really can't.
You really can't. That is so true. And I try to, I've tried to explain and watch little videos with him, but I'm not really sure if he gets it. I mean, but we still have those conversations. I think one of the reasons why he is so smart is because I buy him a lot of books, and when he expressed interest in something, I try to, get things, tools to help him understand, to help him learn, that kind of thing. I don't know, but it
I
is
think that's
definitely a
important.
journey.
Yeah, and I love what Ivy said here about even with my son not being autistic, teaching them and correcting them because, like, and that that's so important because, like, I think about like
Mhm.
what you said, that regardless of what people projections that people had about what your son could or couldn't do, you chose to still scaffold, provide support, but also push
Yeah.
him, encourage him, and not
Mhm.
just say, oh well, he won't be able to do this, he won't be able to do that. Woe is me. You said let's try, let's see what he can do. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
let's always MGO always. Yeah, okay, whatever. We're gonna try it and see how I do. Plus, I was
Mm.
tired of being in the house in the beginning. I was in the house a lot because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't even know how to deal with this. And plus, people would be looking at me
Staring.
crazy because he
Yeah,
would
and
be acting
pointing.
up,
Mhm.
girl, and I didn't know how to deal with that. But hold on, somebody is here. Let
Oh,
me put my.
awesome.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me put my banner up. I'm still learning all of this. I think I'm doing good though. Hello.
Hey, Mo Better.
Hi,
Hi,
Uppity.
NGO. Hi.
Welcome.
Hey, uppity, how
Thank
you
you. Thank
doing?
you.
Oh,
I'm
I'm glad you're
okay.
here because I know you got your baby, so you could also provide some insight too.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
I was watching those earwax videos, and I happened to come off of it to watch something else, and I clicked in, and you were saying so because I heard you talking about your autism. I was like, oh, I want to get some tips. But I heard you saying one of the tips that I love to give people, like when they show interest in something, use that as like a springboard just to teach them other things. Like that is so helpful. Yeah.
Yes. It is.
It
It
is. That's
is.
how we built conversation. My son used to love everything Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
And so so of course we couldn't go in a store if we saw any kind of Mickey Mouse, he wanted it. It didn't matter if it was
Right.
something he couldn't even use. It could let's say it was a cigar holder or something. I don't know. Like he still wanted.
Mhm.
You're right.
But we used Mickey Mouse to start all kinds of conversations about everything. Oh, look, like remember when Mickey this, that, and the other? And you know what I mean? Oh, this is red, just like Mickey Mouse's shorts. And,
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. With
Yeah.
my son, it was cars. Like he was obsessed with cars, and then that transfer the trains, but it helped his vocabulary so much and his math. And well, he I think he was always like a savant with the memory thing because he remember everybody bus schedule. He
Hmm.
like, no, you put him on the wrong bus. He goes on this, like
Well, you know what, my son, he was always, and it's so funny, like with autism, you don't really even know. Like I didn't even know my son was speaking Spanish for real until somebody told me. And then like,
Mm.
and then he was very the first thing that, well, he's still kind of attached. He's not kind of, he is. I If y'all knew how many dinosaurs I have, I probably could start a museum. I don't know. But he was always into dinosaurs, and his first kindergarten teacher, she was like, do you know your son knows all the dinosaurs? He knows if they're plant eaters, meat eaters.
That's so
I'm like, for
Right.
awesome.
real?
Yeah, you don't know the
Oh
depth
no.
until like it's
You're
crazy.
like, what
Yeah.
the hell? And then when he
It really-
graduated from junior high school, the teacher, when she got up to speak about him, she was like, he can tell you every animal, where it comes from, what it eats, what,
That's
where.
beautiful.
I was like, wow, because he says he wants to be a zookeeper. So we'll see how that
That's
goes.
so
Right,
awesome.
right, right. But I think every autism child has some form of sabian to them, like where they have like their specialization, and usually gotta really pay attention and hone in on that. And like
Yes.
That
I
is true.
think,
They say
yeah,
approximately 70 to 85% of us have some kind of passion or special interest. So that is definitely true,
yes, yeah,
Kathleen. Yeah.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't know
No,
about
I
where y'all
believe
are
that.
at. Yeah, it's true. I don't know where y'all at, but in New York City, like back, because my son now he just made 23 on June 1st, right? But back when he
Hmm.
started school, like they didn't even have like in New York City at least, like they would have like the classes like nonverbal with verbal, and it's to me like I
Hmm.
always say shout out to the special education teachers, love them so much because it's really a lot to deal with. So I can imagine more than one time. But I was like, oh, that's not good because it's like you're gonna cause the kids that's verbal
They're going to copy
to
the behaviors
recess.
of their
Yeah,
peers. Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
my God. Can
And
I
they're gonna
tell
reset.
you?
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
yes.
I
No, I
was
was
gonna
just gonna say
say
that was the
that's.
issue in New York City, and like the
Hmm.
parents, we had to fight because me, I was like immediately when like you know how back then this is pre the c word. I would go into class like, wait a minute. No, but this one boy, he could not speak. But when I tell you his drawing skills were so immaculate, he would imitate the posters down to the signature. The teachers had to teach him because it looked so similar. People would think they were buying the authentic version. Like, don't
Oh,
mimic
okay.
the initial, just write your, they was trying to teach him to write his own initials, but he could not speak at all. But when I tell you like the art they had around the class, because he was like, and this is when my son was like about 4 or 5. And he was drawing just like adults with real talent. Like I'm telling, like they
I
already
believe it.
honed their talent. And oh, it was, but yeah, but unfortunately, I had to get my son out that class because it was like I didn't want him being mixed in with like nonverbal students because he was very verbal, and I wanted him to progress, which one to work in because yeah, they took speech off early on. But go ahead, what was you gonna say?
I was gonna tell you that, girl. I can't tell you how many fights I had with the school district for them putting him in a class with kids who couldn't speak, who, because I felt like he mimics a lot of behaviors from other kids. So I wanted him to
Absolutely.
be in a class
Mhm.
with kids who are like
Who
him
are
or
typically
higher.
developing. Yes,
Right.
because
Yes.
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
And let
supposed
me,
to by law, but they try when they can to make it easier to
Right,
put you
right.
in a
Yeah,
girl.
if
self-contained
and the
classroom.
parents are not paying attention, and yeah, and they used to be mad at me. They was like, "Why don't you get a job here?" I used to help other parents because I was always a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And like I would tell people, like, if they got you messed up, no, 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 let me help you. I'll go back in. And you can go to the district, have meetings with them. They knew me by name. They knew my son. I used to love to dress up and like it was like a business because it is. It's for your education. He'll have his little three-piece suit on, and we're going in there like, yes, listen, because not only just the behaviors like you were talking
I
about as
love
well.
it.
Like I don't want because I don't want my son like being like too aggressive if that's not even in his nature. Like don't get me wrong, he knows about self defense, because that's what I
Yeah.
instilled
Yeah.
in him. But it's not like he was never like a violent person. He was always like I want to stay to myself. But his sister was like more outgoing. And even then he would get upset, but he would fall back. He doesn't force himself on people, so he needs to be around kids that the same way, because
Yeah.
it makes them
Well, let
comfortable
me
in
tell
class.
you, I had to fight. I just got out of a fight with high school and I had to hire me an advocate. But that freaking lady, she set them straight. And by the time we left out of there, he was got what he deserved and then some.
That's
And I
awesome.
hate that because
Those
they
those
get so
IEP
much.
advocates can be
Beautiful.
so wonderful, and special ed attorneys.
Yeah.
They're just
Girl.
they are
But
godsends.
But do
Yes,
you
they
ladies know
are.
about OPWDD? Because I know that you said you had to hire an advocate. I tell everybody this because
Yeah, they
this
can
is
often
like
provide one for you
nationwide,
free of charge. Yes.
free of charge,
Who?
and no matter your
Hmm.
income, and it's
Who?
more for your
Office for people with disabilities.
OPWDD.
Yeah, or with developmental
Yeah,
Oh,
disabilities.
okay.
they have a lot of different things. Even when they get to certain ages, your son can get his own personal person. That's what I'm working on now with my son, get him own personal one as an adult. But OPWDD, there's gonna be like an open house. You have to just follow
OPWDD.
the
Okay.
instruction. Yeah, and it's for every
Okay.
state, no matter where you are. Like when you get a chance, Mo better, and one of your moms could
Yeah.
drop the link so that
Unfortunately, a
people
lot of that
see
stuff
this
is getting
replay.
cut now, though, because of the administration we have. They
Tracy,
don't
yeah.
have they
Oh
aren't supporting
no.
special ed
Yeah,
or
but while
Department of
they can still
Education at
get
all.
grandfathered in, you should get grandfathered in. But yeah, because I
Well,
know in my state, yeah,
the
Yeah.
advocate that I have now, and it was expensive. I had to pay for 5 hours up front. So luckily, because she was so good, and because I'm so proactive, she wasn't charging me like the hours she really was spending. So I still have some
nice,
hours left. But I would like
nah.
to, I would, because I'm gonna have her come with me when we have his IEP in October because I'm not playing with this school. Y'all playing with me. You messing with because I look at my kid, autism or not, he is an investment. I'm investing everything I have into him so he could be successful, so he could be
Exactly.
okay, so and so when you messing with my investment, we got a problem. Now I'm about to be
Yes.
on you. And it ain't
And that's
nothing more
important.
dangerous than a black person with money or who know how to move
Hmm.
around
And
because
who
you
is
can't play.
informed.
And who is
Hmm.
informed. Because let me tell you, I cried a lot in the beginning. And I'm an empath. So I thought about all those parents who are not educated or who don't have the means. Like, that's so foul. It's just horrible. I feel sorry for them. And I try to help people as much as I possibly can.
And that's the old school ways. Sometimes the best way, word of mouth, like through your community, each one teach one, and I think that's very important. I'm the same way. Like,
Yeah.
goodness, what if I didn't have this information or know how to do it? Like, I don't think certain information should be gatekept. So
And
you
that's
just
exactly
teach
Yeah.
what they
people.
do. They gatekeep it. They
And
they
Yeah.
that's what
count
they do.
on parents not being informed.
Yeah, yeah,
Girl,
like so,
it's
like if even people
crazy.
now, yeah, people say, "Oh, why you talk about knowledge?" Obviously, I should because you know how many DMs I got of like just information I didn't even know. Like, you know how if your child is like, if they receive any type of benefits, or they might
Hmm.
not have, like, God forbid, you no longer here. There are agencies
Hmm.
where your child can still receive. Like, there's things set up. Like, there are agencies where your child can still collect their benefits and still get the money that you intended for them to have while you're not here, and it don't affect their benefits
Exactly,
or
like the able
situation in any
account
way
and so
going
forth.
forward.
Yes.
Yes, they got so
Hmm.
many
Yeah.
companies set up now. So I'm learning a lot of information and stuff like that. Yes,
Well, let me
it
tell
is
you, when I had this little battle recently with the school, and when that advocate went in there, and she's a PhD, and she was also a special education teacher as well as administrator, like over 30 years experience. When she was asking them for certain records and she was looking at it, girl, I was like, I never would have been able to do that. As much as I've advocated for him, I wouldn't have known all of that stuff.
And
Bro,
they know
she
you don't
busted
know.
them
And that's
down.
why and
Bro,
that's why they are able to
isn't
get
that
by with giving
horrible?
our kids the bare minimum as opposed to the actual free appropriate public education that they're entitled to by law. Because you're a smart woman, but this isn't your field.
right,
And
This
right.
they
is
know
not my
that.
field.
And not only
Girl, and
that,
I
the
felt
title
like,
matters as well. The title matters as
yeah,
well. Them making a
Yeah.
complaint versus you, that's a lot. That, you know what I'm saying? They can call out a lot of things that would get recognized. Like, they may investigate what you say versus that person because they already know the protocol and program. So clearly they're making this, you know what I'm saying? On the right
Exactly.
put,
yeah,
not Not that parents wouldn't, but you know what I'm saying.
No, you're
Well, I
absolutely
told the
right. The title
school.
matters. Yeah.
Yes. I told the school though when that lady went in there and she set them straight, I told the school I said the trust is gone. Now I'm second guessing everything you telling me. I told her straight up. So you're going to have to rebuild that trust cuz at first she was trying to put him in another school. Why we going to make him suffer cuz y'all messed up?
Exactly. That's
We're not gonna
ridiculous.
do that. I'm gonna hold you guys accountable. And how he ended up in jujitsu was because I was like, oh, y'all not getting our money. I usually do summer school, not this summer. Y'all won't be getting that money from us. We paying jujitsu, and that's fine. Because I was like, you guys, they get the most money for us, and we get the least amount of support. Like how you don't have after school care for children with autism. That's wild. We need it
Exactly.
more than
That's
anybody.
crazy. Right. And you know, there are some parents, because there is programs, and like I said, it just depends. Because it was explained to me, there are programs if you're like the parent of an autistic child, where they'll pay you to be at home with your child. And the amounts depends on whether they go to school or not. But when you take that money, you don't get the same amount that a school would get. So to me, it's just better,
Yeah.
especially because the root of a lot of root of kids with autism problem is socialization. So I just want them to get as
Yep.
much as that as they can in like a
Yeah.
security
Yep.
environment. So
Yeah.
that's
And
why
I
I
think
would
we
never
also need
go
to,
that route. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And some states, so both of you are in blue states. So in red states, there's a lot less resources, unfortunately, for families.
Really.
Oh yes, it's awful. And it's just very sad. It's the reason why some families will literally move out of state, seeking different services, because they are just,
That makes
tired
sense.
of not getting what they need for their children.
That makes
Yeah,
sense because my sister
and
has a friend who she came from Las Vegas and she was saying how they had no services in Las Vegas. She was like, "Yo, Kiki, what? They don't do that out there."
oh,
I'm
in
like,
Las
"Wow."
Vegas, wow, you would
Hmm.
think they have enough for the money because of the tourism alone. But
Oh,
I
they
would
have it.
also
They
say
just
that,
choose not to use it for people with
and
disabilities
that,
because they don't
yeah,
give a freak about us. I advocated
so
for
that's
a
what
family
they
once
You
in
better
in
say
Las
it.
Vegas, an 8-year-old
they
child
need to
that
get in
they
their
arrested at
Congress
school.
behind though. Those people need to get in their Congress behind. And another thing I want to tell, I don't know if people knows, your doctors can be advocates for you too, not just your child doctor, but your doctor as well. You can say like how much of because it is kind of exhausting, it's draining to deal with this situation. So your doctor can speak up for you as far as writing notes down as and them along with your child doctor's note. That could cause you to get some services as
Hmm.
well, whether it be somebody to come in or maybe they got like respite day, somebody come take the child, or they set it up like you so stressed out because I can't make it home from work and get to the time for bus. They can set up something in that way as well too. So yeah, don't forget to
Yeah.
include not only your doctor but your child doctor as well and your advocacy. Mhm.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, especially you, MGO, only because you're in California as well. Do you
Oh,
know
not anymore.
any?
Yeah,
Oh, you're
I'm
not
in.
anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you guys know of any, or Uppity, you might know too. Do you guys know of any support groups or agencies that I could contact? Because I have never really done that, but I'm getting into it now because now my issue is I just want him to socialize more. I want him to, and he's doing really good with that. I mean, as far as like meeting people and conversing with them, but
Hmm.
I'm more concerned because now he's going to be an adult. And so we're
Hmm.
focused on now him like he just got a job and he is so good
Awesome.
with that. Uh-huh. So that's my focus. So that's why I went ahead and signed up for regional center.
Good.
He has
Are you
his
connected with the
assessment next
Autism
month.
Society near you, or the ARC,
Yeah, I
or
was
any
gonna
of those
say that. Yeah,
programs?
No.
No. So
So
the
but
what
when
is
you
that?
Autism
go
Because
for
Society.
I'm gonna research it.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, the Autism
What is it
Society
called?
usually have, so depending on where you're located. So like there's, for example, the Autism Society of,
I'm in Los
Denver.
Angeles.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely, so you're in LA. So I would connect with the Autism Society. There might also be
Okay.
there might be a chapter or an affiliate group of the Autistic Self Advocacy Network there, as
Okay.
well. The ARC is a good, is good as well. So the ARC is developmental disabilities overall, not just,
Okay.
autism, because sometimes that's what's helpful is, there's things that are under the autism umbrella, but then there are things that are just in general, various different disabilities where you can find connection, with and information and support. There are might be some city programs like the mayor's office for people with disabilities might be a
Okay.
good suggestion. The Easter Seal, well, most I think Easter Seals is mostly younger children.
Well, that's where we had ABA through Easter seals.
Okay. Yeah. And then UCLA has some programs like they have that they have the Lovas Center there that which I have issues with, but anyway, but there's other things like there's a huge autism center through at UCLA that has different programs, and they might have some things for like youth, young adults. Also,
Well,
this
let's.
is virtual, so it's not the same, but AANE, the
Okay.
Association for Neurodiversity Education. I can't remember what they stand for, but they're in New England. But they have like virtual connection programs for autistic, like people of color, LGBT, young adults, youth, people of color. I think some of them are free, some of them have a cost, and so it's a virtual connection, but it might still be something he might be interested in. And I'm sorry, I think I might have cut you off. Were you about to say something?
Well, I wanted to ask you what were your thoughts about that UCLA program, because there was my dad used to actually work at UCLA, and he was trying to get me in one of their programs for children with autism, but I kind of just was ducking and dodging it only because it was too far and I just wasn't going to be driving that far. So that was why I kind of was like, I don't know. So I wanted to know what your thoughts on that program was.
So I feel like Connie Kasari is there. She's an amazing researcher. I actually just saw her this weekend as we had a conference on autistic non-speaking or minimally speaking individuals and like
Hmm.
communication devices. And then also Alice. Oh gosh, what is Alice's last name? uh might be Wong, but I don't want to. That doesn't sound right. I'll have to look it up. But there's a few different researchers that are at UCLA. They have some good programs. Historically, it seemed like it was more tailored to younger, but I think that's more lifespan now. And
Oh,
so
okay.
they also
Okay.
do have a transition center that is a collaboration with UCLA and I think Howard, and I'm trying to remember who else. And so that might be of interest. That might be something that would be that your son might like, that you might want to look into. And I
Okay.
know you mentioned the jujitsu, and I think that that's cool. That because I think things that we can do that are movement that make sense, that are repetitive, can be things that we can really shine at.
Yeah, girl, and he freaking loves jujitsu. Even though the first day he was like, "I don't want to go. I'm not going. I'm not going." And I was like, "Okay, well, let me call summer school." He was like, "Okay, I'm gonna
Then
go."
he's like, "I'll try. Let me go one time." Sometimes we just need to just go,
That's cute.
one
That's
time
cute.
and try.
Right?
And
Yeah, you gotta use forced choice. I use forced choice a lot. That works.
but I
You
was
gonna
gonna
do
ask you,
A
did
or
you
you
ask
gonna do
your high
B?
school? Did you ask your high school guidance counselor or even like your hospital social worker? They usually like know of programs like within your area that could at least point you in the right direction for like the area that you live.
No, I never did. But I will. I mean, like I was explaining to MGO and the ladies that were here, I when my son was diagnosed, I still was kind of dealing with the grief, the loss of my husband. I tell people all the time, go to therapy, because I never went to therapy and I wish I would have, because I could have healed a lot faster had I gone to therapy. So I kind of just dealt with it on my own. So for a lot of them years, I was angry and I kind of was just going through the motions. The good thing is though that I wanted the best for my son and I kind of just focused on him. But at the same time, it wasn't good because I kind of didn't deal with my issues. I just was laser focused on him. But at some point when things calmed down and I was able to really start healing. I read a lot of books and I'm so much better now. I have even started dating again a few years ago. Um, so I'm doing much better, but I think a lot of what I was dealing with as far as my grief, not dealing with it, kind of held me back. I see that now, but I'm also one of those people who feel like, okay, you right where you're supposed to be. Maybe that's where you were supposed to be. Now we see it and we can do something about it and we can move forward.
Yeah, that's
And I
beautiful.
mean,
And
that's
yeah, you're on the right track. And like I said, like nobody's perfect. There's no like handbook. But I was just saying, like, I just know from like my personal experience, because it was my therapist. She gave me this thing where I got to, when I find it, I'm gonna give it to you because I've been meaning to
Is
contact
it
them. They actually,
Don't Mourn for Us?
excuse me.
Oh, sorry, the thing she
don't
gave you,
mourn for us.
was it that?
No, no, no. No,
Mm,
not doing more for us. No, this is a
okay.
side of that. This is like
Okay.
just something dealing with parents that give kids, like, they wanted parents that have kids that were autism, but they're not autistic. And they just want, and if you knew the dad, like, to take the blood results, they're trying to find the root cause of this. Even though I think we mostly know, I think it has to do with them
Oh,
shots. And also,
Oh, okay.
within that program, they also have other programs, like for like
is it
socialization, like
Spark?
she was wanting for her son. Sparks, you're right.
I
That's
heard
what
of
it's called,
Yeah,
Sparks.
I'm
Sparks.
I
on
heard of
their
Sparks.
yeah, I'm on their outreach and engagement committee. So yeah, they have so I'm glad that you mentioned that, Uppity, because they do have a variety of different things in different communities for
Sparks.
Right,
families.
Okay.
Like they have the locations, like the some little clinics in certain areas, and they also have virtual things.
right.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna put that on my list too. My
Yeah,
sister been
because
trying to
somebody
get
reached
me
out to me
to.
with that. Yeah, because I have like three kids. Well, at the time I just had two, and because my oldest son have it, but my daughter doesn't. So you know what I'm saying. And then they wanted to, like, when I spoke to somebody, they was like, we would want blood work from everybody involved, and for research purposes. But they was also telling me about other programs they have as well, dealing with like socialization, just based on the things that they asked me for. Because I want the same thing for my son, for him to find like a friend group that has more in common with him, because his friend group that graduated, because my son went to inclusion high school, like his friends that graduated, one of the guys, he graduated a little later, so he was like 20 when he graduated, but now
Hmm.
he's in medical school right now. His other friend that graduated with him, he enrolled into like a police officer, like he's enrolled to be like a police. And my son, he wanted to more do like the entrepreneurial thing. So, and now he's more focused on like maybe just like working regular jobs. So he's trying to find like something that he would enjoy. So he's doing different trades now to figure out where he want to go in the workforce.
Oh, cool. Okay. You see the question? Maverick wants to know, MGO, what is the cause? And before you answer, I would like to say that I also do not believe that immunizations cause autism. I have my own personal thoughts on that, but I don't really want to get into a debate. But I just wanted to, I wanted MGO, if she wanted to respond to your question.
Yeah, there's been decades of research over and over again that has debunked the lie. We're still, unfortunately, dealing with Andrew Wakefield, who was a British physician who doctored research and
Hmm.
was disbarred for it because he wanted
Wow.
to provide a link between the MMR vaccination and autism, and so he doctored research. That's it was disproven, but for years that's what the lie that people were told. It has since been disproven. But I will say this. Let's not pretend that a vaccination is a dead or a mild version of whatever that
Right, right.
that's
But I
how.
just wanted to say,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was coming. Not just, I heard about his studies, but there are other
Mhm.
people. I don't want to get into the debate about this, but I'm just saying, like, that's not the main reason I believe it. And just because I've
Yeah.
seen it over time, because
Well,
initially,
yeah.
I'm talking about the black community, it mostly affected black boys, but as of recently,
Yeah.
it's affecting a lot of girls as well.
Yeah,
And
well, I was just
and
going
with
to
the
say
changes,
that, I
yeah.
mean, I don't, so I want to say that there are some children who are predisposed to things where vaccinations will cause issues. There are some people who are allergic to certain things that are in there's a whole registry for immunization harm. There are some people, for example, if a person has had, chicken pox, there's, they should never have that vaccine and so on. So there's certain things that
Right.
I won't, so I would never say if a person says that their child had an immunization and they started having problems or health problems, I would never take that away from them but it's
Right.
not, but it does not cause autism. It
Right.
might, but autism has a variety of different causes. Some of a lot of it is genetic, some of it's environmental. They've been, there isn't any one cause. Like usually most people who are autistic have some neurodivergence in their family. If you look at grandma,
Yeah.
mama, somebody's gifted. or
Yeah, I agree
somebody's,
with
Mm-hmm.
that. No,
yeah,
yeah.
or
Well, I'm
someone's
with
Very
got
you
true.
dyslexia or
totally.
something. Yeah.
But on my son's
Mhm.
father's side, I didn't know about autism until my son was born. And by the way, shout out to you. You got to chill. That's a great honor. Shout out to you and your
Yes, I was
son.
just
Great
about to
mom
type
chill.
that.
That's so
Excellent.
Great, great.
wonderful. Praise God.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's but
yeah,
there's neurodivergence somewhere. There's someone with dyslexia, someone with
yeah,
ADHD,
no. But my
someone with
son's father's
Tourette's.
side,
Yeah.
but I think
Hmm.
they more like way on the behavior side because I didn't know that was, you know what I'm saying? They had autism to explain, but I think like they're more like JB. Y'all ever seen JB?
No. Oh
That's what
yes.
Um,
my son uncle acts like. His mom constantly, like his grandmother constantly had to put her son in like in the hospital on medic. Like my son, I never put him on medication, but
Yeah. No.
I just saw like a leap in certain things with the as far as girls is concerned in the recent years when it
Well, I
wasn't
think
that way
they
before.
really just didn't they didn't know how to find girls. Like they with when they did sibling studies and research genetic sibling studies, especially like twin studies, they would find those siblings. They just the diagnostic criteria were written in a way to where it was easy to find boys and girls were hidden. It makes me think of like I think
Wow.
in the 80s, if you think about the heart attack. So women were dying left and right of heart attacks and no one knew why. And the reason why is because
Mm-hmm.
most of the research that was done on heart attacks said you're going to have pain in in your chest, pain in your left shoulder. Well, that's not what women typically get when they feel nausea. They feel, if their symptoms are different. So women were not
Right.
experiencing those symptoms, and so they were thinking that women just wouldn't have these heart attacks. No, you wouldn't catch it early enough to help them. And so similarly,
Yes.
when we think about the fact that autism as a diagnosis didn't exist for a long time. It was infantile schizophrenia for a very long time. And it wasn't until I
Mhm.
believe the DSM-3 that it was even
Right.
identified as a diagnosis. And so a lot of girls were missed because the diagnostic
I
criteria were
believe
written
it.
to where you can catch a little boy. Like most of the time you talk to somebody, my son, my
Mm-hmm.
son, my son, like my first autistic child is a daughter and I'm autistic myself. You know what I mean? And I'm a girl.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and we get
Yeah.
yeah. I'm starting to
Mhm.
see a lot of women like around. Well, I don't know exactly how you are, but a lot of older women coming out saying like that's their diagnosis, like at this point. But maybe they wasn't diagnosed earlier. But when I'm speaking of
Yes.
signs, I'm talking about the regression as far as like in their childhood, like as babies. Like my son, he was like on key, on key, on key until he got to be about 9, 10 months. And at that time, like you said, it was like kind of new because he was born in like wasn't new like that, but it wasn't as widespread as far as knowledge with doctors and stuff. So when he was about
Right.
9, 10 months, and I'm telling the doctors like he's not progressing, and it looked like he's going back, and the doctor's like, no, your boys don't develop as fast as
I
girls,
hate
blah
that
blah
they
this,
tell
blah
people
blah
that
blah.
because you
Yeah.
were right. What you
Girl.
saw was accurate. And there's so many parents who have that
Yeah.
story and it infuriates me because they see the difference. They see the child
Mm.
losing skills that they had
Yeah.
developed. And people are just,
Right.
oh, you're just being a paranoid parent. Oh, boys do
Mm.
this.
Yeah.
Or,
Right.
oh,
That's what they
you
told
just have
me.
high standards
Yeah.
when you are
That's what
seeing,
they told me.
and there
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
used to be the diagnosis of childhood disintegrative disorder. Now they've merged all of that, but that does exist. There are so many parents, they can
Yeah.
show you
Yeah.
videos of their baby at a certain age, how they
Right.
were, what they were doing, the
Yeah.
stuff they were
Yeah.
pointing at or looking at, and whatever the
Yeah.
words they were saying, and they could show you the difference.
Right,
So
and then
true.
when he turned and then because I was like really advocating, like no, it's nothing right, like, and so the doctor gave me like a 3 month appointment to come back again, and by that time he was like a little one. He was like, okay, yeah, now I see what you're saying, and then he gave me a referral. But what I didn't know at the time was I didn't even have to wait on a referral. I could have just hit up early intervention. But being I didn't even know what
Yeah.
autism was or anything about it, I didn't even do that. But once I hit up early intervention, and even what they was telling me, like, don't worry, you're lucky because you caught it early. He's only 1 years old, and we're gonna work with him, and he's gonna be okay.
What such
And
a
he was,
blessing.
you know what I'm saying? And then, like, that's why when I had all my kids, I didn't wait for a referral. When they got to be around the 1 year mark, I got them tested and see what the problem was, and that's how Nala got
That's
diagnosed.
so
But my
good.
older daughter, they said no, but Nala, they's like yes, and then she started her early intervention. But I think
Mhm. And now it's built into regular pediatric appointments where they do the MCHAP.
correct, correct,
Yes.
correct. Yeah,
Mhm.
because a lot of doctors they would not
Yeah.
recognize it at all.
But one thing that has always bothered me is the fear mongering. Like the way they tell
Mm-hmm.
parents that their child is on the spectrum, they might as well tell you your child has stage 4 cancer and is going to die in a month. They tell
Right.
it to you like it's
Yes.
the worst
Girl.
thing on the earth. Like your
So
life is
true.
over. Everything, your child's not going to
And
have any
it's
hopes or
not.
dreams. I'm like, why are you telling? This is the same child that walked in the door. You know what I mean? They're like before they
Yeah.
had a label. Why
Yeah.
would you talk to people about it in that way? You don't tell anyone anything else about themselves in that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't
Yeah,
and you
deliver
can
that kind of news. Yeah.
also
I
fight for
agree.
like verbalization. Like they just tell me like I'm trying to remember the exact phrase. Or they used to try to teach my son say shut up, and I'm like, no, I don't want him saying that word. I think it's kind of rude coming out of a kid's mouth. So
Mm-mm.
I guess they felt it was easier for him to say shut up versus be quiet. I was like, no, we're gonna teach him be quiet, and then he learned that. So you
Yeah,
could also push against stuff like that because two word command, three word command, that's a thing. But like you get the right to pick the commands you want, the type of two words command you want because they'll try to push something else that you
right.
don't, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this has been a really good conversation. I'm almost feeling like, should I add this to one of my little shows that I do? Maybe we can come together and talk about different subjects or different topics as it relates to autism. So I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna do some research and see because we've had some rich conversations today included. Like I was very surprised at the feedback that I got from when I told my story. I really was not expecting that. And like Jake said on her live, she was like, "Oh, you guys have it's a lot of people with children who have autism um, in the sector or just on YouTube. I don't know because really that is how I ended up getting involved in YouTube because I spent a lot of time in the house and
Right.
I really didn't have no life, and that was my entertainment. It was, that was my entertainment.
And I gotta
It's
watch your
better now that
replay,
he's
but
older.
I gotta watch your replay and shout out to you because that's kind of like nerd working in his book, and I'm so happy they was ingracious to you with you and your situation and story because that it
Thank
is
you.
hard. People don't understand like mothers in general. You have to be um how you say selfless, but when it comes to dealing with children with autism, and then the thing is no child is the same, like my son, he was
No
talking
child is the
clear.
same.
Yeah, my son was talking
Yeah,
clear
mine
by three
too.
years old. 3 years old,
He was
clear. But I do think that had a lot to do with he had another child in the house with him, like my daughter. They're like
that could
a
be it.
little
Yeah.
under 2 years apart, a little under 2 years apart. So I believe that had a lot to do with it. I'm thinking it's gonna be much easier, but it's been way more difficult dealing with one child. But but you know what I'm saying? But I think people like just give yourself grace, try to find a support
You
system. I think
gotta
that's
give
nice that you
yourself
try to
grace.
find like a support
Hmm.
system in your area because a lot of family members they don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with that with Nyla because like she's way more. She didn't have to go through like when my son we would go to like because everybody kids was around the same age and like oh he spoil you, you're just spoiling him. Don't do this and don't do that. I'm like no. Like because you not all kids autism they don't wear it like you think you're gonna see it. So like you
Oh,
you
they
you
so
have to.
different.
Yes.
Yes, that like Stephen Short says, if you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism. It's like the Black community. We
Yeah.
can be all kinds of
Right.
shades. We can be light, medium,
Yes.
dark, in between.
Mhm.
We can be tall, short, different hair textures. Autism is the same way. Two children
Yeah.
in the same family could have it and present
Right.
Yes.
extremely differently.
Exactly. And I'm dealing
Very
with that
true.
now. Extremely different. You know what I'm saying? And even though Nala is not as verbal, but she's more of a extrovert in the house compared to my son. Like, see, my son, he kept the hospital schedule. I don't care what you got going on. He going to bed at 8 o'clock and he is getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't care what you got going on. He's been like that since a
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, they don't play. They got their schedules, period. And you better not deviate from it. If you do, it
Right.
better be a good reason. It
Yeah,
better be a
and
good reason.
and he's very blunt. He's not being rude. He just very blunt. Like he states it how he feels. Like there's no filter there. You know what I'm saying? So, like
I
you
love
just
that though. I
Because we're
love that.
real.
yes,
So much
yes.
of non-autistic people, not trying to be mean, but y'all are so fake. Like y'all say stuff. Y'all say, "I'll call you." You don't really want to call that
Why?
person, so why'd
You
you say, "I'll
better
call
preach,
you"?
you,
MGO. You
You know
better
what I mean?
you,
preach.
You say, "How are you?" but you don't really care how they are. So I've taught my children they
Right.
don't mean it. It's just a social. It's like saying hi. They don't really mean how are you. So you say fine, even though it's really fine, because they don't actually care how you are. They're just saying that. It's just a statement to fill the air. You know what I mean?
ooh,
like,
you
y'all
ain't
would
never
tell
like,
people
cause
about
Right.
Santa
Right.
Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I
Yeah.
would love a I would and I would love to find a place because the siblings they help, but they also I think they need support too. Like siblings or children.
Oh,
I
they
would love
do.
I wish they had
Yeah,
like a little group for children.
there's an
Yeah.
organization, the sibling lead, I think it's Sibling Leadership Network or something like that, or
Okay.
for siblings. Yeah, and there's like they have like
Sibling
sib shops.
Leadership
Yeah,
Network.
I hope I've got the name right, but it's a whole
Well, I'm
national
gonna look it up. I'm
organization.
gonna look up
I'm
the.
Yeah,
gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it
let me
up.
make
I'll find
sure
it.
that I've got it right. I'm pretty sure that's the name.
I
Yeah,
might
Sibling Leadership Network. The website is siblingleadership.org. Yes.
siblingleadership.org because I have a
Mhm.
friend who this girl who her well she's not a friend but I kinda built a support group with some of the moms at my son's school. I started a like a text message group so we could share resources with each other. Um, and one of the
Nice.
moms, she has a daughter who's a year younger, and she struggles with giving him too much time, not giving her enough time. And she even
Mm.
told me like last semester her daughter was kind of mistreating her son because he felt her daughter feels
She
like
feels like he gets
she's
all the
not.
attention probably, and she's not getting any.
Yes.
Hmm.
And she's not getting
Oh
it. And
wow.
her son,
See, that was oh yeah, see. Oh. Yeah, and I think that might be a
what?
thing with siblings. Now that you mention it, like yeah, it might come across that way because especially if they too young to grasp like what's going on. Oh yeah, I think that's even special for that. Wow.
And I think in some families that is the
Yeah.
case. It's always get your brother this, get your sister this, do this. I'm thinking
Yeah.
sometimes you
You
just need to
can't
be
do
with
that.
them, and it's hard, especially for
Yeah.
people who, especially for single parents, to divide the time. The other child needs
Right.
some time and attention too. Because otherwise, they can't just their identity can't just be the big brother or little sister or whomever of this other person. They have to have their own
Mhm.
thing that's theirs.
Yeah, but see
Right.
me, I
And I
didn't really run it that way. But like I said, I didn't understand autism, so I just ran it until he was diagnosed and stuff. Even then, I didn't understand grasp the full concept. So to me, it was like I think maybe, but it worked out. Like, okay, this is like, but I did recognize certain things. Like, my son he was not sociable. Like, but I did have to teach him, like, hey, your sister spends all the time with you. You in the house with her all day by yourself. When she's in the park, if she doesn't want to play with you, leave her alone. Ride your scooter, or you can sit here with mommy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like
right.
force her to stay with him or nothing like that. Like, no, you got to let her go. My daughter's always been a social butterfly, so he got upset, but eventually he got used to it. He already knew what it was. He was gonna ride his scooter and not talk to nobody and wait till Sister
Yeah.
K play with him. Yeah.
And see, and I think
Yeah.
I'm glad that you
Well,
recognize that because I think we socialize differently. So some things that other people
yes.
crave, we don't always all want. And again, we're all different, of course. So I can't speak for everyone, but for some of what some people
Correct.
want, like, oh, this is so fun, this social event, this that thing could be draining. Like we might be happy with one good
Right.
friend as opposed to a
True.
whole crew of people. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Tell my son he
Yep.
can't go to the park. You don't threaten me with a good time. He get excited. That was not a good punishment for him. Like I used to tell people, like, oh, they would get mad at my son for not like. And my son had this thing. To me, his name is easy to pronounce, Naki. But if they
Oh,
didn't say his
that's a
name right,
nice name, Naki. I
you
like
can
That
that.
take
is.
it.
I
They were
like that
like,
name.
yeah, they be calling him Nike and all the type of weird stuff. And my son would sit right there. And there used to be this one lady, Miss Gwen, she would always say his name right. And then he'll look right at her and smile. And they be like, you ain't hear me calling you? No, you didn't say his name right. So he ain't gonna answer to what
So he
he's
wasn't gonna
not or
answer. He's like,
whatever.
I don't know who
Yeah,
Nike is. That's a shoe. That's not me.
that's how my son
Right.
was. And he was
Wait,
very
MGO,
protective. Like,
do you have Instagram?
Yes, I'll pop it in the back chat. Hold on.
Please do.
So.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna send you a friend
yeah,
request.
and
I'm
I'll
already
follow
friends
you.
with
I'll
Uppity.
follow you as well. But did I tell you ladies this? I don't know if y'all seen my community well, but I recently had a big scare in Nala school. And I'm like, and I already like, cause Nala has like a speech therapist, and she was mad at me. I think she did, or was almost mad as I was. So they were saying that they was transitioning to Nyla. Stop, Nyla, stop. They was transitioning to something, but I'm thinking they transitioning to the cafeteria because they was leaving school. And they said that Nala got out the front doors because there was elections,
Oh yeah,
and
because she
she
was
ran
overwhelmed
out
by the
the front
noise
door,
and stuff and
and
the change of
and
Oh my
scene.
then
God.
she was missing for 15 minutes, and they didn't even bother calling me until
Oh
she
my
they found
gosh.
her.
Oh, I hate that they do that. They should have let
No.
you know immediately. They always do that. They let people know after they found. I'm like, so what if your child is gone for an hour? Then you're gonna wait. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right, that's what I
horrible.
Yeah.
said. And then she obviously had, because the way her school is shaped, it take up the whole block from like front to back end. So she had to cross some streets, and thank God a good Samaritan found her. She wound up walking into like a doctor's office. And when they sent me her school tag, you wouldn't even be able to recognize her name. Only her school is prevalent. That's how they knew who she was. Because even if they found her, they couldn't even say her name.
Wow,
Because
this is so
Wow.
scary.
It
and
is
that's like my
scary.
worst fear. And then like, and my daughter's like, "Well, it's time to change school." Because normally you do the slightest thing. I'm like I told you, got I'm like you more better. Um, called well in New York City, it's a District 75. I'm on the phone with them. It's
Hmm.
time to change your school. Blah blah blah. You know, they already know me by name. You know, they probably recognize my phone number at this point. But I'm like, I finally found a school, and I could tell Nala really likes the school and really loves the
Hmm.
teacher. I can tell she's comfortable with the situation. But it's like and then this happened on a Tuesday. School just ended Friday. And so I'm gonna, and then I didn't
Wow.
send her to school the next day. I did take her to the hospital so she could get a medical clearance. But it's like 15 minutes, and you didn't even tell me to after. And the principal called me, and she said that they
That
were
is
gonna,
crazy.
That's
yeah, update the
horrible.
name. Yeah, she said they're gonna update the name tags because I told them from the get go. Nala's a runner. Just because she doesn't do it all the time, Nala's very smart. She's gonna wait for an opportunity.
Yeah, she
She's not
exactly.
gonna
She did
do.
it,
Yeah.
and she did
Yeah.
it because she was,
That's
obviously
crazy.
overstimulated by the elections, all the noise, the buzzing of the people, and so she did it. Like you said, they're
Yeah.
thinking, oh well, she hasn't been running, she's been good, she's comfortable here. But it wasn't about the people she's with. The environment changed, and she was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
No,
you
they're
got to
not
be
police, but
mindful of
they're
all
not
of
the
that.
real police. But I want to tell you, you got to chill. It wasn't a police. With the school is called like safeguards or whatever because they said they locked down the school and the
Oh, safety
safeguards is there that
police.
be with the school safety police. Yes,
Oh,
and then they
oh, that's
called
certain
the real
resource
they called
officers.
the real police, and then
They
they
still
called
were
me on
doing.
the
I
Wow.
still don't
yeah.
like how they handled it. You should have been notified right away. You're her mom.
That's what I
You
told
know what I
Immediately.
them.
mean?
Yeah, that's what I
Immediately.
said. Don't you ever do that because it makes a difference. Like when kids go missing, they tell you the most crucial hours, or anybody go missing, the first 48 hours is so crucial. So the principal called me. She's like,
Exactly.
yeah, she's like, I apologize. She said, I think what it was, we were just all trying to find her, but you didn't find her. A stranger did. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Um,
Wow.
They need
Oh
to
my
change the
God.
protocol immediately. That's grounds for a
Right.
lawsuit. You know what I mean? That's
It is
crazy.
grounds for a
You know,
yeah,
lawsuit.
and then
and
she started crying. It was
wow.
like, I'm
Wow.
like, you don't have to cry. She's like, I'm like, well, like, why I have to
Like
feel
what
like
if,
I gotta
like it
console
could have been
you?
any number of people could have found her, anything could have happened.
She
It's
could have
just
got hit
so
by a
Anything.
car, thank God.
exactly.
Could
Like it took
got
a
hit
Yeah.
lot
by a
for me
car.
to get over that. My people was like, yeah, just be grateful she was found. And because I was so depressed, I'm like, because that's like your worst fear. And especially because it's not like she's verbal, but it's minimal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and then in an environment and in an opportunity, a situation where she's scared and these are strangers, is
And
she going
she's
to be
not gonna
motivated to
talk to
speak?
them.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to
Wow.
stay on their neck and you got to research. I have found, I think what's helped me so far and why my son is so, why he's done so well is I research a lot of things. I read a lot of stuff, so I know when this is not right or I need to challenge this. I mean, they would hate to
Yeah,
see me
yeah. I'm
coming,
thinking
but
about having like because like I said, this happened on a Tuesday. In school, the original school year is going to be over on Friday. Then she's going back on summer school, but she's not going to be at that site. She's going to be at a summer school site. But I'm thinking like, is it
mm,
allowed? That's what I have to research, and I want to ask you, ladies, if you're aware of. Can we have some type of safety? Because she just had an IEP, but I
Yeah,
know I could do another
you
one.
should, yeah, a challenge IEP or an updated one because they need to have a safety plan
yes,
embedded in her
Yes, I want to
IEP
do a safety plan
immediately.
IEP. Yes,
Yes.
so I could do that for
Yes.
summer school, right?
Absolutely. You have grounds to do it right
absolutely.
now because there's been
Yeah,
a change, a circumstance. So you have grounds to do it. And I think by law they have to do it within 30 days or I think 30
yeah,
business days or something like that because of the
Yeah,
yeah.
because
circumstances
they
have
go back on
changed.
the sixth. They go back on the sixth. This just happened the other day, so
Oh,
not too long
yes.
ago. So yeah, I want to do like a
Yeah.
Wow.
safety updated IEP plan because they said
Girl,
they're gonna put like
go
yellow
up there.
tags and somebody's gonna always hold
Wow.
her hand. I'm like, yo, because it
Jesus.
like that
Well,
was crazy.
when I was fighting with the school this last time, when I saw what was going on, I asked for an emergency IEP. Uh-huh. And then I got me an advocate, and when we walked up in there, they was all shocked, like, what the hell? She got some, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
Yeah,
y'all
they
knowledge
weren't
wrong.
they
speaks.
weren't
She
She's
said,
about
expecting
to
that.
fix it.
yeah,
Yeah, they
because
were
Mhm.
not
knowledge speaks teacher
expecting
that
that,
comes to the
girl. You
house.
should have seen. You should have seen
Yeah,
the look on their face.
yeah, the only reason why I asked for, yeah, because the knowledge speech teacher that comes to the house, she told me she want to talk to me first so she could tell me exactly what to say in
I
that
think that's
Yes,
wise.
emergency
Definitely
IEP
meet with
meeting. You know
her.
what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree.
yes,
So
Definitely meet with her.
she want to consult with me
Hmm.
first, but she said,
That
yeah,
is,
no,
yeah,
that's
definitely do
crazy.
that.
She-
Hmm.
yeah,
and we
that's the
need
only
those
reason.
people. We need those
Yeah.
people
Yeah, so shout out
because
to
there's
Knowledge
some
Speech
people
Teacher.
who
She's
know more.
amazing, amazing. Yeah, so she said she got, but I was
So
like, yeah, because I was telling her I want an emergency, and not, and she's trying to get into observe Nala at the school where she's at because it's gonna be a new site. But I was like, yeah, she needs something else because like I don't know why they said somebody's gonna be holding her hand all the time, but I want to get her a one on one para
Exactly.
because
That can
you know what I'm
shadow
saying?
her.
mhm,
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
Hmm.
because if something happened to my baby, y'all all going down. We not playing
Yeah,
at
I think
all.
you have grounds for a one-to-one pair given this situation that happened. You know what I mean? Because
yes,
Yes,
that's
they need to
yeah,
prove that they can demonstrate her safety. They also need to prove that why was she able to get out? I understand about fire hazards
right,
and certain not having things blocking doors, but there wasn't anything even preventing her from leaving out the door. And I get it. I understand that the
exactly,
election day things can be mayhem, but that's why you have to have extra staff
yeah,
on hand ready for those types of things
yeah,
because those things are overstimulating
absolutely.
for us. It's loud, it's noisy,
Yes.
you know.
It's a hot mess, but I agree with all of that, and I thank you guys so much for coming up. I'm gonna end it here because I do have jujitsu and I need to get ready. But you guys have sparked something in me. I'm kind of feeling like we should have an autism series. Maybe we can discuss different topics. So let me look into it and see what kind of things I can come up with. And I would just love to just like partner with y'all and kind of discuss it with you guys and see what y'all think, or if you have any topics that you think might be good, we could do this. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be every week, but it could be every so often. We have an autism series, you know,
Yeah, I think that'd be
it
cool. And I
would be
see some people
good.
in the chat who've had some great things to say. Maybe they, would be
please,
interested in
yeah.
participating and
Hmm.
giving us some insight too. I think this would be wonderful.
Yes. Okay,
Mhm.
great. So I'm going to let you guys have your final say and then I'm going to end it. And then I'm going to look into it and I'll be reaching out to you ladies on Instagram. Maybe we can come up with something, or if you think of any topics that you want me to touch upon, let me know. I'll do my research and maybe try to get a panel together so we can talk about it. But so go ahead, Uppity. What are your final thoughts? Uppity, what
Uppity, are you
happened?
My
there?
bad. My final
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
My final
mm.
thoughts to this. I just like to thank you ladies for a wonderful panel. I found this very informative and and it always feels good to connect to other people who can somewhat relate to what you were going through. So, shout out to
yes.
you ladies in the chat as well. So I'll see you guys around. Later, you guys.
Okay, thanks, Uppity.
Anytime.
Go ahead,
Yes.
MGL. What are your final thoughts? What would you like to share?
Sure. I was just going to say, anyone who's watching or listening, either now or on the replay, if you haven't subscribed to Mobetta, please do. You can get great content, cocktail and conversations, informative things such as this, just real life stories. So definitely
Yeah.
subscribe. And I also wanted to say, and there's a a kind of a written piece. It was written in 1993. Actually, it was part of a speech, and Mobetta
Okay.
talked about the grief that she experienced initially upon her son's diagnosis. And so I think this is something that would be beneficial for other people to read. If you know someone who has, where autism has touched their life in some kind of way, it's a poem called Don't Mourn for Us. If you just Google that, Don't Mourn for Us, Jim Sinclair is the person who wrote it. It talks from the autistic person's perspective about how we understand parents grieve, but the grieving cycle, has fear, anger, sadness, but eventually it has self-acceptance, right? You move forward, right? And so it
Yes.
talks about the
Mm-hmm.
importance of understanding that your child is not hidden in a shell behind autism, that this is who they are, and
Period.
how you can work to relate to your child, and autism is not death, and how, you can kind of come to terms with, this is not the child that you planned, but this is the child I have. And I'm going to,
Yeah.
and I'm going to celebrate, myself as a parent and give it all I've got. And so it's an
Yeah.
encouraging poem for people to read, especially, who are early in the journey. So I just wanted to share that.
Yes. Thank you for that. And I totally agree because I did think it was the end, everything was jacked up. And now I don't think that. Now I feel like I am blessed. I am blessed. I am chosen. And I'm grateful for this journey because he has taught me so much. And he is just, amazing. So I agree. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
MGO. And I
Thank
hope you
you.
will
Have
come
a great,
back.
definitely, and have a great time at jujitsu. I'll drop down.
Thank you. All right. Have a good evening. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Another good episode. And plus, my sound was jacked up, but now I fixed it and I know what to do. So next time we won't have that problem. So get ready for cocktails and conversations on Saturday. But I'm gonna start my mocktail series. No more alcohol. I've been drinking every weekend with my cocktails, and I can't be drinking every weekend. It's too much. It's starting to get to me. So I'm gonna start doing mocktails. Don't forget, we have our Mo Besties uh oh my god, intro challenge on on July 18th. The last day to submit your entry would be the 16th of July, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We already have 4 people who have entered. I'm gonna cut it off at 15 because we don't want to be here all night listening to intros. But thank you guys so much. And tell me after this video if you could drop a comment in the chat if you want me to start an autism series where we just kind of come together and talk about different subjects or different challenges or whatever. I think it might be really good to do that because this has been very helpful for me and I got a lot of good resources that I'm going to check into because even though I have done pretty good with my son, now it's a new journey with being a teenager and getting ready for life, for him being an adult. And so now it's new challenges. And now I'm looking into certain things that I really wasn't looking into before because now I need them. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. And you guys have a wonderful evening. I will be back definitely Saturday for cocktails and conversations. I don't know if I'm going to do a story time on Wednesday or Thursday if something comes to me, maybe. But if not, I'm still going to come live, even if it's just for 20 minutes and only 2 of y'all show up. I'm going to do it because it's good me in the practice of going live and knowing how to work StreamYard and just getting more comfortable. So, but definitely you guys know that I will set up the live. I don't know if I should start doing that. Maybe this time I'm just going to go live and see what happens. I'm a Sagittarius. I like to live on the edge. But anyway, so I'm on my way to jujitsu. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for being here. I love y'all. You guys have a good evening. Okay, bye. Did I end it? Oh no, here we go. See, I'm still learning.
I know, I know, I know. I know it may be the end, but it ain't gonna be the last time you see me. I hope you had fun in my house. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Mo better, mo better, mo better, mo better. Let's have a good rest of the day or night. Depending on where you are at in the world, they say you ain't gotta leave, but you gotta get out of here. It's time to go, but I hope you had fun. Thank you for being here.